What is going on, everybody? I'm a little bit fired up this morning. Yesterday I was trying to help a gentleman purchase a Prevost bus, and I just can't believe what happened, what we found. I wanted to just make a quick video sharing with you guys the whole story. I learned a lot from this story, and a lot of the times I don't make videos about all of these different situations that I get put in, but a gentleman scheduled a consult call on my website, rvingwithandrewsteele.com, if you ever want to chat about your motorhome buying experience or anything about motorhomes. But this gentleman wanted to buy a Prevost bus. This is his first motorhome. He wants to use it for his son's travel sports events and tournaments throughout the area where they live. They do have a small airplane, but the equipment is very heavy, so they'd like to have a bus where their equipment can be hauled around. So this gentleman had found a bus that was actually kind of close to where I live and was calling me to ask me about this bus. It was a Prevost country coach, and probably the best looking Prevost country coach of that era that I've seen. And I told the gentleman, if it's as good as it looks in the photos and the story matches up with the story that the owner was being told, then this is a buy. He was definitely paying, top of the market for that coach. I think it was an 07. I think it was priced around $480. He wanted to try to negotiate that number down, but we wanted to see the coach first to really lay eyes on it and know what we're dealing with. This gentleman is extremely smart, and he did schedule an inspection at Prevost. So first he had the bus side of the coach inspected. Prevost went through it. They were able to let him know all of the work that it needed. He needed someone to inspect the house side of things, and it is really hard to find inspectors that are capable of inspecting a Prevost bus. And I've always said, if you have 5 inspectors inspect one coach, you're going to get 5 different reports on that same coach, just because every inspector is going to look at it from a little different angle and see different things. There might be a lot of things in common, but I like to say that the owner of the coach, or whoever's going to be operating that coach and driving that coach, should be the one inspecting it. They're the one that's going to be responsible for caretaking for that coach. So I think it's good to understand how to operate all of the systems. When you're purchasing a coach, you inspecting it yourself and going over all the systems yourself could either give you negotiating power, or you're going to find stuff, and nobody's going to protect that $500,000 like you will. I don't typically inspect coaches. This was a rare scenario where the coach was close to where I live, and it was a unique coach that I really wanted to see. The owner was a super cool guy, and he was willing to compensate me very generously for my time, so it did work out for this instance. One of the biggest things that this gentleman wanted with a coach was either a bunk coach or a coach that could be converted to bunks. And anytime that someone's getting a coach, a bunk coach especially of this era, I always like to put them in touch with my friends at rvmattress.com, Brooklyn Bedding, who have mattresses of all different sizes. And when you're buying a coach that's 10 or 15 years old, those mattresses definitely need to be replaced at that point. They can be getting dust in them over all those years, so it's so important to make sure that you're getting a good night's rest and that you're sleeping on a high quality mattress. And I'm happy to share with you guys that we can get you a 25% off discount on a Brooklyn Bedding mattress with the coupon code Andrew Steele. I've been sleeping on a Brooklyn Bedding mattress at home for over a year now. They make high quality mattresses. They have a 10-year warranty, a 90-night sleep trial, free shipping, and they send it directly to you. So it's really cool how you unbox them. They're very high quality mattresses. They send it in a box. You can load it right into your motorhome, and then the mattress kind of unfolds out. It's really cool. I've known about Brooklyn Bedding for a long time. They do have a factory in Arizona, where I used to live, and they do also have mattresses that are more geared towards homes. So whether you need a new mattress for your home or your RV, it's definitely worth checking out rvmattress.com and using that coupon code AndrewSteele to get that 25% discount. I will leave that link in the description below, and I'm definitely going to advise my consult client when he does get a coach to switch those mattresses out for Brooklyn bedding mattresses. And I think the coach that we looked at is definitely going to need some new mattresses, because what we found on this coach, it was just unbelievable at how the coach was represented and what we found. So this coach was for sale by a private owner. Now, one of the biggest differences in buying a coach from a private party versus a dealer is having recourse. If something goes sideways after the sale, or you find something out where, you know, the seller wasn't fully transparent, you have little recourse. Places, when you shop at dealers here, like we're just pulling in at the Motor Coach store, who's got like 250 5-star reviews. You have Google reviews that can really affect a business's reputation one way or the other. When you are buying a coach from a private party, you have to do your due diligence ahead of time to really protect your dollars. And this gentleman was ready to buy, because when we left, he actually called his banker and said, hey, I'm not going to wire the money on this coach. He was ready to spend almost $500,000 on this coach, but there's several reasons that he didn't buy it. First off, when we walked into the coach, it was filthy dirty, and out of respect for the owner, I wasn't filming it. I feel like it's maybe not the classiest thing if I have a GoPro camera, but I did take one picture of the one thing that was the huge deal breaker. So overall, the coach was the best looking coach. There was some vinyl put over the cabinets, and I think folks should start looking into doing that in some of these older coaches more often. It had a nice light gray vinyl and new floors that were done very well. It did have 4 rooftop AC units added, so that was huge. It wasn't depending on the Crestron panel to run the basement ACs. All of the roof airs were on individual panels, which is just easier to operate, less stuff that can break. But the more we talk to the owner, the more we learn. So it's always good to get the owner of the coach talking, because over hours and hours of you looking through this coach, they're going to tell you stories about it. This owner owned other buses and basically ran a tour bus company and was connected to a lot of music artists in that entertainment scene where the tour buses are used. So, but he did say that it was his personal coach. The more the conversation flowed, though, we started to learn some more things. So one of the big things about that era of Country Coach was they had an 8,000 watt inverter, which was really cool, but very expensive to replace. And I called my contacts at Country Coach, my buddy Dave Rousey over there at Premier RV of Oregon, to ask him about this particular coach and stuff to look for. And that 8,000 watt inverter was one of the big expenses, because a lot of times they'll switch those out for twin 4,000 watt inverters, and that can be pretty costly. Going through this coach, just overall, it had D-lam all over the coach where the panels were separating. A lot of you saw the video I did titled $50,000 Prevost Problem. Those can be glued for about $500 a panel, but the riveted repair would be $30,000 to $50,000. We were finding, real quick 6 figures in repair work that would need to be done to this coach to get it standing tall. Just lots of little knick-knack stuff was broken. The deal breaker is the picture that I'm going to show you guys right now. So we go into this inverter bay, and I was really focused on the inverters because I wanted to know there was a single 3,500 watt inverter. So they took the coach from a 24 volt system to a 12 volt system, from an 8,000 watt inverter to a single 3,500 watt inverter. So while I was looking at what the inverters were, the gentleman that wanted to buy the coach was looking at the bay, and that's when we found, and it's basically evidence of a fire. Clearly there was a fire in this bay, and the owner, we asked him if he knew anything about it. He said no. So we called the guy that had done the work on the inverters, and he explained to us that they had just put the single 3,500 watt inverter. And while we were talking about that, we asked this guy, hey, do you know anything about this fire that was in this bay? And I think at this point, the gentleman wasn't buying it, but we're probably just looking through this coach for entertainment purposes at this point. The guy on the phone was like, oh yeah, that fire happened while we were working on it. We found it while it was smoldering, and basically something had been on top of the battery, and that they had basically found it and put the fire out. So, and they didn't even clean it, like there was still ashes. You could still smell the fire in there. So, and then not only did the gentleman on the phone tell us that there was a fire there, but he also said, well, this coach has been used as a star coach, and the drivers that were driving it didn't know how to operate the coach. So basically the guy on the phone completely contradicted the owner of the coach's story. He's saying it was used as a tour bus, where the owner of the coach clearly said, this is my personal coach and it's not used as a tour bus. So anytime integrity gets broken away, I just walk away from the situation, because without integrity, there's just nothing there. That was just a deal breaker, and the lack of transparency. Owner didn't know about the fire, but then he calls a guy, and this guy knows right about the fire, witnessed it happening. I would think that that guy would tell the owner of the coach about that fire. It was just a very bizarre situation. The gentleman trying to buy this coach had already spent a lot of money having the coach inspected at Prevost. He flew down here to Florida to look at the coach. I'm sure his plane ticket was probably, close to, $500 to $1,000 plus a day of his time. Uber, paying me to come out cost a lot of money, of course, to come look at the coach. It's an extremely expensive, several $1,000 day for this gentleman to try to buy the coach. At the end of the day, he's like, I learned a lot. We did come over here to the motor coach store where there were some other coaches to look at. He was definitely very impressed with the condition of all of these coaches. I know we make a lot of videos here at the motor coach store, and I would love to make more videos for private parties. Situations like this are one of the reasons that I only make videos for private party sales if I have a lot of rapport with the owners, where I really know that they're really morally good person. I really try to be protective of this channel. I know other YouTubers out there have promoted products that are not on the up and up, and not everyone in the RV business is perfect, but I'm definitely striving to do business with the best of the best. That's why we also partnered with Brooklyn Bedding, RVmattress.com, to sponsor this video. It's a high quality product that I truly believe in, that I do use at home, and I do turn down a lot of offers from I get a dozen emails a day of people trying to have me peddle nonsense items on this channel. But definitely appreciate you guys and appreciate your trust, and all of you that are subscribing to the channel. So I'll try to give you guys an update on this gentleman's situation, what bus he ends up buying. We're still on the hunt for a Prevost of that era. So we really appreciate all of you that are subscribing to the channel. We hope you're all having a great day. Thanks again.